I'm professional photographer Ian Plant, and I travel the world looking for the most amazing subjects and moments to capture with my camera. And I have the privilege of working with some of the best photographers on the planet. And for this photo adventure, I am joined by two fierce competitors, my good friends, Joseph Roybal from Colorado.
The sky is just lighting up behind me here.
And Erez Marom from Israel.
In your face.
And together we are going to embark on an epic road trip through the American desert Southwest, where we are going to have a battle royale to see who emerges as the top photo pro.
I intend to produce some very good photography and win this battle royale.
Challenge accepted! Yeah! 3 photographers, 5,000 miles, 4 states, 2 weeks.
It's like a Rubik's Cube for the mind.
1 mission, to get the shot, no matter what.
I am professional nature photographer Erez Marom from Israel. After over 8 months of not taking a single shot, I decided something had to change. I came to the US to celebrate my 40th birthday. I might come as a bit of an underdog. I've never been in any of these locations. I'm not used to shooting the American Southwest desert landscapes, but I intend to produce some very good photography and win this battle royale.
I'm Joseph Roybal, born and raised in this arid desert landscape. I am from the western slope of Colorado, where one might say I am bred for a challenge like this. I am competing against 2 of the best landscape photographers in the world. One is Ian Plant, a seasoned veteran who creates compelling imagery that will leave you scratching your head. His compositions are mind-bending. Erez Marom from Israel, he can literally melt rock with his gaze. So I am looking forward to this challenge, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
It's very clear to anyone that Erez is a better photographer than I am, so Erez will likely beat me in this competition. Also clear is that Joseph is better than Erez, so Joseph is going to beat Erez. Also pretty obvious, I'm better than Joseph. So my strategy to win this competition is to beat Joseph, who is going to beat Erez. If I can get the dominoes to fall that way, I win.
These guys are going down.
We hit the road and drive to our first photo destination, the massive dune fields of Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado. Covering over 30 square miles, these are the tallest dunes in North America, rising over 700 feet above the surrounding landscape. Here we are at Great Sand Dunes, and it's a beautiful place. These sand dunes are really incredible. The problem is we're down here, and the places we want to shoot are way up there. That's about a 700, 800 foot climb. So it's going to be a long slog to get to the top, but that's what we got to do to get the shots that we want. These ripples behind me are amazing. Too bad they're way down here at the bottom of the dune. I'm hoping to find something like this up at the top of the dune.
It is a bit of a competition between the 3 of us this trip. A friendly, if you will, to just kind of see who gets some of the most unique or dramatic or just shots. So the idea here is just working my way into the dunes, Going to be climbing this little spine here, this little ridge, trying to get just some nice perspectives on the lower dunes. I'm trying to go high here. I'm just trying to get higher up. Just really trying to kind of get a little bit more perspective and a view of the dunes that are in the background here, and also possibly just looking directly into the sun. Some of that real nice side harsh light or backlit light on some of these. So here we go. Just going up, kind of going to keep going. So I've just been hiking and hiking, just trying to find a higher vantage point or just a really solid vantage point that will give me clear view access into these far off backcountry-ish dunes here. I'm really looking for this side light. The sun's going down off in the west, and I'm looking for this light that's just coming right off the side, the side light backlighting on these dunes, because it really is what's going to make things pop. And that's really going to be, I think, where this scene is going to come together if it can. Really not having a lot of sky tonight. No clouds off in the distance, and so really just trying to make this work. And as I mentioned, it's every man for himself, really just trying to get the shot. Everyone's trying to get something unique and different and just see what we come up with.
We get up early the next morning, climbing the dunes in the dark to get to the top in time for sunrise.
Well, after a nice big coffee and a big biscuit with bacon, egg, and cheese, we started climbing. Man, it was hard. It was kind of like the opposite of landing on the moon. One small step for man, two big steps backward every step you make. It was pretty hard, but we got to the shooting place. I got some nice shots, hoping to improve on them in the next few days.
Like Arez is doing, he's getting close to the features. I was wanting to go into these as well, just get real tight, get in on that, just to really bring that into the foreground for the peaks in the background here, just to bring the leading lines in. But got this guy here in my way.
Sunrise in the dunes is difficult. You have to get up early, not quite awake, and then you've got that big climb up the soft sand to get to the top. And all the features are kind of on the wrong side. It's really better at sunset, but we did get up here. We found some interesting sand features. There's lots of really nice ripples that are moving from the foreground to the background to the mountains in the background. And also there was some wind-blown features that had some interesting shapes.
We hiked in to over the top, the highest dune, came into the bit of the backcountry, if you will. Just a beautiful morning. Had a lot of fun. We're gonna head in though now. It's time for some eggs and bacon and getting back to town, getting some coffee. So anyway, day number one, morning one. It's been a ton of fun, starting off a fun trip.
It's a lot of sand. After several days of sunny skies in the dunes, we decide to chase some weather and head to our next photo destination, the twisted canyonlands of south central Utah. This is wild country, largely untamed by human hands, and well off the beaten path for most other photographers. All right, guys, I've got a photographic challenge for you. We're going to go into Leprechaun Canyon. It's one of my favorite canyons. It's an awesome place to photograph. And we're going to see who can get the best Slot Canyon photo.
Sounds good.
All right, are you guys up to the challenge? All right, hands in. Ready? Challenge accepted. Yeah! It's the middle of the day, and it's very sunny out. Perfect for Slot Canyon photography.
Bigfoot's handprint. Clearly he has a hand at least twice the size of Other than a few very small ones in Israel, I've never been in a Slot Canyon. This is beyond belief. This is way, way bigger and way, way more impressive, colorful, full of patterns and beautiful things compared to what I know. I love this. I can't wait to see what the light brings.
So what I'm doing is I'm just aligning the camera and the composition to really work with these leading lines in the slots here in the slot canyon, going towards the glow at the end of the canyon. Really just all these lines are going straight into the frame, and it's just a really, really nice composition. And so looking for simplicity and eye movement within the frame.
So my strategy here is twofold. One, I've gotten to the place in the canyon where the glow is strongest. I've got that really strong glow in my background. And the second thing I'm doing is getting really low. There are some striations here in the foreground, some channels that have been carved by erosion, and I'm using them as the foreground in my composition. And by getting low and close, I make them look a lot more prominent in the final scene. So they're actually quite small, but because I'm so close with a wide angle lens, they're gonna look much bigger and be elongated in the foreground. And that's gonna make the composition much more dynamic.
When you have very strong leading lines, it's good to have them coming out of your point of view, coming out of the floor, out of the foreground. And it's also really nice to have different kinds of lines. For example, here in this composition, we have very straight lines, leading lines to the more lit part of the composition. And also on the side, we have very nice squiggly lines. And this diversifies the composition and gives it more interest.
My eyes are on the prize, that really bright, colorful glow in the background. So I'm just gonna work it as much as possible until the glow goes away. And I'm just trying to find the right foreground, the right shapes, the right composition to bring it all together.
So we had one ray of light penetrating over there. And I thought it was like 3 or 4 minutes long. Lasted for maybe 5 minutes.
Side to side.
And then I thought it was over. And then I stayed to shoot a little bit of these light beams. And all of a sudden, another beam came out. I called Joseph. I thought he would be happy. He was like, it's not a nice light beam.
I want to give a special thanks to my sponsor, Tamron, for helping make these episodes possible. Tamron makes high-quality lenses for a variety of camera systems. Some of my very best photos were taken with Tamron. We are in no man's land in the Utah desert, which means it's drone time.
We're all taking our drones to the sky. So we're currently having issues with our batteries. All of us. We're all running low.
All running low.
All running low. Because the scene was absolutely epic.
That was an epic sunset. There were these high winds, and the winds were building up these beautiful clouds, and at sunset, the whole sky was painted red. So we got some great photos, but even better than that, it's Erez's birthday today, so Erez, happy birthday.
Thank you. I could have asked for something better on my 40th birthday.
Awesome. Totally awesome. The next few days forecast sunny skies in Utah, so we decide to keep chasing the weather, heading southeast to Vermillion Cliffs National Monument in Arizona. This colorfully twisted landscape is a photographer's paradise, containing some of the most amazing sandstone formations in the world. After a few days in the Utah desert, we've decided to move on to a new challenge. Arizona.
One of the biggest things in landscape photography is chasing the light, and that also means the weather. So when we were in Utah, the weather was perfect. We had the low pressure kind of moving in, a lot of clouds, a lot of drama. It was great. And then it started to go more towards the high pressure front, meaning no clouds, not a whole lot going on. We noticed that in northern Arizona here, there was a bit of a lower pressure front kind of moving in. So we left Utah this morning. We drove for 8 hours, just arrived. I'm scouting around trying to get some ideas for some locations, some comps for sunset, and fingers crossed. One of the things, though, that I am noticing is we do not have any clouds in the sky, which again is a bit of a bummer. Some clouds off to the west are moving in. Not sure if they're going to get here by sunset, but nonetheless, that is not going to ruin me from having a good time and getting into the landscape.
Right now, we've got sunny weather for sunset. Not ideal light, but there's supposed to be some clouds moving in overnight, and the moon is out, so I'm hoping to do some night work with some moonlit clouds streaking across the desert landscape. So I'm hoping we'll get some good conditions and make some nice shots.
And the moon is up right here behind me. It's about 50%. And so what I might try to do, since I don't have any clouds in the sky tonight, I might try to use that to my benefit and get some stars, get some moon shots, some twilight. There's no such thing as bad light.
We stay out late into the night making photos. At first, the skies are clear, and we photograph the stars and the landscape by moonlight. Eventually, clouds move in, and ice crystals in the sky form a halo around the moon.
I'm professional photographer Joseph Roybal. My eyes are my most valuable asset, and that is why I protect them with zeal. So I'm absolutely loving this middle of the day photography out here. You can see behind me that the clouds are incredible. And Ian is off over here to my left. Erez is over here somewhere shooting, and you know, it's just a little trio of dudes. It's a desert dude fest. Anyway, we are out here, and these clouds are just absolutely gorgeous. This is almost the stuff that you see in the middle of the summer during the monsoon. So fingers crossed this is going to stick around through sunset. No idea if it will, but man, I am having so much fun. And just these lines and this light out here, it's just amazing.
Black and white can be a really great option when you have high contrast light, but there isn't a lot of color on the landscape, but the landscape has a lot of shapes and texture because that harsh light is going to reveal that texture. So this is something you can think about when you're shooting in the middle of the day. Right now I've got these really dramatic storm clouds coming in, and so even though the light isn't optimal for color photography, I think it's going to look really great, really dramatic once I convert it to black and white. So right now I've got a composition set up with this really interesting shape in the foreground, and I'm waiting for these storm clouds to come in. That's going to be really dramatic, and it's going to make a compelling composition.
This is our last night here, and it is a duel off for all of us to see who can get the better photograph. I've really been looking for something that's different, that's unique to this area. This area gets photographed quite a bit. The landscape out here is a real challenge. It's like I keep telling Ian, it's like a Rubik's Cube for the mind. But the light is getting really good. I'm getting super excited to shoot. I am hopeful that all of us can come away tonight with something really good. And let's hope for a really, really awesome sunset.
The clouds are really amazing tonight, and I think there's going to be some spectacular opportunities. And I'm looking out at the western horizon, and there is this big blue gap there. So I think when the sun gets a little bit lower, all these clouds are going to light up, and this is going to be beautiful. There are so many good compositions here. I'm just running from one spot to the next and working this amazing light and these great clouds as much as I can. Find some compositions you really like. You find yourself going back to them, waiting for the perfect combination of light and clouds and composition to take that shot to its fullest potential. We have had an amazing 3 days of photography here in the Vermillion Cliffs, and I feel like I got a lot of really interesting shots on this trip, and I'm hoping that Erez and Joseph feel the same way. But now it's time to pack up and move on to our next photo destination.
After leaving our campsite, we head out towards civilization. We notice a huge storm front sweeping through the southwest, with one place looking promising for photography. We aim for the recently created and rarely visited Gold Butte National Monument in Nevada, hoping that we've picked the right spot for our sunset shoot.
So we took a look at the forecast for a number of locations and concluded that our best chance for getting good sunset light with these amazing storm clouds in the background would be in the Nevada desert. So we drove down here to Nevada to a favorite little spot of mine. And sure enough, we've got some really dramatic storm clouds, and the western horizon looks like it might be clear. So we're hoping we're going to get some epic sunset light.
The sky is just lighting up behind me here. I have my drone up in the sky actually right now, just hovering. I'm waiting for sunset. I'm kind of looking down here at the screen. Actually going to take a quick shot because the light's just amazing, just awesome. So I'm going to keep shooting, but I'm so excited to just be up in the air.
But we were certainly in the right place because the light is just going off tonight. It's been absolutely beautiful, and the drone is real useful in a place where you could legally fly it if you need to cover a lot of ground and kind of scout as you're going. With the drone, I can zip back and forth between a lot of different potential compositions until I find something that I like that works with the light and the clouds that I have.
So that was awesome. We got these storm clouds. Oh my God, that was so fun. So we got these up in the air, the drones, and I just landed at 7% because I was just flying and having so much fun. But the light was incredible. Just this side light shooting across, all of these clouds creating some really dramatic, undercloud kind of coming down. Man, the light was awesome. So me being first time in this environment, and I didn't want to waste the opportunity, so I went to the air cam, the sky cam, put this up, and it was just absolutely incredible. Super fun.
I've got a composition here that I've been sitting on for years, and it's never worked out for me. But now these clouds are coming in, these beautiful storm clouds, and the light is just perfect. This is some really beautiful twilight glow. Everything in the scene is just glowing purple and orange, and this is everything I wanted. The clouds, the composition are all coming together just perfectly. Finally, after 7 years, I've got this shot.
After a few days of photography in Gold Butte National Monument, clear skies return, so we decide to chase the weather one last time before our trip comes to an end. We head west to Moab, Utah, home to some of the most incredible desert scenery on the planet. The pressure is on because we know this is our last chance to make great photos.
Just when you thought you couldn't fit any more photographers into our epic road trip adventure, we have teamed up with professional photographer Dan Ballard, who is the 4th member of our road trip roster, and he lives in Moab, Utah, and we are going to spend the next few days exploring this area with him, trying to find unique and compelling compositions. So here's the challenge, Dan. Can we photograph this area without going into the national parks, which are just absolutely crowded?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much here, so much to see. So many amazing places that haven't really been photographed at all. Super excited to be out with you guys.
All right, well, the challenge has been accepted. I cannot wait to see what we come up with over the next few days.
I'm Dan Ballard. I'm a pro travel and landscape photographer. My primary focus is kind of landscapes, but kind of in the international, setting. So before pandemic, that meant a ton of travel. Nowadays, obviously a lot more close to home, which has been awesome. The U.S. is so gorgeous.
So I'm going to fly my drone this morning because we're in a new area and I'm not very familiar with it, so I don't have my land-based shots scouted out to shoot with my camera. So the drone is a great way to do some scouting while I'm shooting, and it helps optimize my chances of getting a good shot.
Take a look. It's looking so good.
Where are you? Oh yeah. Nice. Some great light coming through right now. Some nice clouds. The drone was definitely the way to go.
We have some really great clouds. We're here in Moab, and it's just this landscape is just so amazing. So trying to get some of this dramatic light on these peaks really make them stand out, the formations.
So what happens when your fingers get so cold that you can't control the drone anymore? What do you do?
I panic, and I run around in circles, and I jump up and down, and I freak out. My drone is gonna crash. So what I do is I really work on them, and then I can touch my screen.
Well, my drone is coming back on its own. It's on autopilot, and it's just going to go ahead and land in the background. And I think we had a really good morning. We had some great light striking these dramatic rock formations, and I think we all got some really good shots. It was a perfect start to our Moab photo adventure, and I can't wait for the next few days to continue to explore the area and make some photographs. So who got the best shot this morning?
I did,
Yeah?
for sure.
I don't know. Joseph, like everyone gets a vote. Who do you think got the best? Joseph?
Me.
You, okay. Dan, who do you think got the best shot?
I did, for sure.
Harris?
I haven't seen any of your shots.
As we head back to town, the clouds lift, and we stop to photograph some colorful desert plants that we find in the canyon.
I've got some pretty interesting trees back here. I really like the colors and the patterns that emerge, but I'm going to have to zoom in tight to capture it. So having a short telephoto zoom is useful for these sorts of intimate landscape compositions. Right now I'm using Tamron 70 to 300 millimeter lens for Sony E-mount cameras, and it's perfect. It just allows me to zoom in and pluck out a distant portion of the landscape and make an effective intimate landscape composition. This is really nice because I've got just a little bit of light gracing those trees from the side, and there's a shadowed background, so the side lit, backlit trees are really popping out quite nicely from that dark background. But zooming in tight is absolutely essential to isolate those trees against that dark background, because if I've got parts of the background that are lighting up in the shot, it's going to make the composition less effective. So right now I've got some trees on the far side of the river, and they're backlit by the rising sun, and behind them the landscape is in shadow, and then the reflections of both in the water. Yeah, that's nice. So Dan, where are you taking us tonight?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good spot out here. It's kind of an adventure to get to. Should be a lot of fun, bit of a secret spot, and yeah, it should be great.
This road is pretty bumpy and rocky, so we're going to drop the tire pressure to make the ride more comfortable, smooth things out. Because with nature photography, comfort is king. Power up like Dan can with that giant beast of a car. Don't have the same clearance, so I've got to do a little bit more finesse.
All right, well, here we are. That's the spot.
Wow, this place is amazing. That scenery is incredible. And we've got this awesome cloud just hanging right over us, and it doesn't seem to be blowing away. I think it's like a local weather effect. It's hanging over the mountains in the background. And so there's some clear sky on the western horizon. So what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's going to be really good. I mean, yeah, it's crystal clear over there at the horizon where we need it to be, and we've got awesome clouds this way where we need them to be. So yeah, I think it's going to be excellent.
Great clouds. We got the potential for great light. We've got some really incredible scenery. Now we just have to find a foreground to bring it all together. So it's time to spend an hour or two scouting. So I've scrambled up to this super sketchy point on top of this sandstone hoodoo, and I saw something from the distance that I thought might make a good foreground. But now that I'm here, I'm not so sure. But I'm looking around and I just don't see anything else. This is like the best option that I can see, and I feel like I'm kind of committed, and I'm a little scared about getting down. So I've got a composition that I kind of like. I'm not sure I'm really in love with it, but I'm up here. It's the best I can find, so I'm going to go for it. And now I'm just playing the waiting game, just waiting for the sun to drop below the cloud bank. There's a gap on the western horizon, and so there are probably going to be a good 10 minutes of light when the sun gets down beneath those clouds. And I'm hoping hoping that the light will work just fine with the composition that I've selected and that the shot's actually going to work.
I say, Ian, you stepped in my dirt.
So only one question remains. Who emerged as the top photographer of this photo adventure competition? Was it Ares? Was it Joseph? Was it me? Who do you guys think?
Well, I think this is for the audience to decide.
All right, world, it's up to you. Leave your comments. Let us know who emerged as the top photographer.
I thought you were a pro photographer. I thought you were worth something. I thought you were worth my friendship.
I respected you until
Apparently.
you chose pooping over photography. Yeah, for me, it would be Gold Butte National Monument. Gold Butte.
And you have to explain it to someone with a very low IQ and a small brain, then it takes long.
You don't have to dig around for the perfect chip. They're always just, it's the next chip is the next perfect chip.
Don't you feel my composition, young lad?
Desert Dude Fest.
So the cows tracked up the landscape. Should we
So the
seek vengeance on the cows by having steaks tonight?
Man, steaks and everything beef.
All right, let's go home. Bye.
All right.
Alright.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Here are a few more great videos that I think you'll enjoy and learn a lot from. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified by ringing that bell so that you always know when we drop our next helpful video.